Hey guys, and welcome to Unit 3 Law AQA Murder. This is my first video and I'll be explaining the steps in which you need to do in order to answer a question in relation to murder and how to start it off basically. Murder essentially has the aspects of the definition, the actus reus mens rea, the cases with the murder, and apply them to the scenario. There's heavy emphasis on application on Unit 3, so I'll get to it and I'll show you what I've done so far. This is a model answer, so what you have to do is apply it where necessary. I've color coded it for you, so it should be easier. Okay, so you start off with the definition. Sir Edward Coke defined murder as the unlawful killing of a human being in a country of the realm under the Queen's peace. That's a perfect definition, and it tells you that Sir Edward Coke defined it as that. It is in no doubt that, so in this instance, defendant's name would be the one that's in your scenario in your exam, is a human being, and as there is existence independent of the mother. Now what I've done here is I've applied the human being definition as stated in Attorney's General Reference number 3 to the actual scenario in regards to the defendant's name. So it essentially shows application from the beginning and is in a country of the realm under the Queen's peace. So the definition of murder has been fulfilled. After this, what you'd have to do is the actus reus. The actus reus would be the unlawful killing, and there's no cases to go with the actus reus as it is essentially what it says, the unlawful killing. The actus reus can be, the conduct can be an act or omission. So what you'd have to say, in this instance the conduct was a result of the defendant's act or omission. So for example, if Bob stabbed Bill, that would be the act, and therefore the actus, and Bill died obviously, and then you'd say, and therefore the actus reus is present at the end of your application to the scenario where the actus reus is. So that's where you show where the actus reus is present. The mens rea one is a bit more in depth because there's cases. So the mens rea of murder is malice aforethought, expressed or implied. Then you go on to say which one means what. So express malice aforethought is intent to kill, implied is intent to cause serious harm. This was stated in Maloney, so I've just bracketed Maloney for the reference point. So what I'd then gone on to do is just general knowledge to get the general knowledge point. So I've stated 3 cases. In R.V. Vickers, the House of Lords held that intention to cause serious harm was sufficient enough for the mens rea of murder. This was later re-emphasized in the case of Cunningham, and also I've done R.V. Smith held that serious injury is the same as really serious injury. So there's 3 cases there which essentially explain general knowledge points in aspect and relation to the mens rea. You can also add Hancock and Shankland and Nedrick essentially. Now for the next aspect you have to mention the virtual certainty test. So what I've done is I've directly applied the virtual certainty test to the actual mens rea part. In regards to the defendant's name, so you could say whichever the name is in your scenario, it is virtually certain that the actions, now you could see that I've highlighted actions in purple, and the reason for this is that you'd have to say the actions in the scenario obviously. So there could be a stabbing, or there could be someone drowning, or an omission basically. You'd have to explain that in depth where the action part is of the defendant against the against the victim obviously, could result in serious harm or injury. This was stated in Woolin, that's why Woolin is essentially bracketed, which goes with the virtual certainty test. So the virtual certainty test is present, serious harm or injury, as well as the virtually certain aspect. After this you may be asked to do causation, or essentially go on to explain the defenses, of which I'll cover in a later video. So this is essentially what you have to write to start off a murder scenario. If there's murder present, you write the definition, actus reus, mens rea, causation if applicable, as well as the cases, and there's heavy emphasis on application for Unit 3, so I'd advise you to apply where necessary and apply it in a good fashion. If you need any help or tips, contact me on Twitter, it's at Dilsey. it'll be in the description below as well, and hope this video has been very informative to you. Thanks.